I'm so sorry to hear of the dam failure. You did report dam failure, right?
That's right. It did crest its banks. And so you have a whole community there downstream being ordered to evacuate if they can. But on the other hand, some people can't even leave at this point. It's too late for many people. The mayor saying shelter in place if you can. In your experience, how should one go about deciding whether it's safe to still shelter in place versus try to get out and seek shelter if they're really in the thick of it right now?
Well, at this time we got to depend on the knowledge of the local residents in that particular area and in where they live or work in relation to that Kaupakalua Dam. And if they're downstream and if it's not too late, then they need to seek higher ground. In other words, evacuate laterally, try to find places where you can get above the flash flooding markers or zones. And that's what I say, shelter in place only if you know you are not within that hazard zone of the downflow of that particular reservoir.
Yes, and you mentioned, sheltering in place. Sometimes you can consider vertical evacuation, so to speak, in a sturdy home or that. But what we saw from that rain bomb a few years back on Kauai, it could sweep homes off of their foundations. What are the homes probably generally like up in this area, and what concerns should people have about their structures?
I haven't spent a lot of time up in that particular area, so I'm really not familiar with the local situation there. But, when you look at the earthen dams, the agricultural dams we have in the state of Hawaii, they go back a long way. Some of them are over 100 years old. And, they were made pretty sturdy, but over the years, due to erosion, also you may have, for example, vegetation growing on the dam. There's a lot of ways that the structure can weaken. And so it just it takes the owners of the dam as well as the county of Hawaii, and in many cases the state of Hawaii also, to keep an eye on these dams throughout the year.
Yes, and Kaupakalua is an earthen dam, as you mentioned. Now, from what we know so far, it was a situation in which the spillway had been running very high, the water crested over, different than an outright breach and break of the dam like in Kaloko, correct? Can you explain in your observation what the sort of difference would be between a sudden break, a sudden breach like in the Kaloko of old in Kauai versus a full dam that simply begins to overcrest? Still dangerous, but a different kind of danger, is it?
Very, very dangerous, and it can be, the breach can cause depending on where it's located in the elevation of the structure, meaning the reservoir or earthen dam or whatever water detention structure there is, depending on its elevation, once it's breached, the force of the water can come down in just, it's just very, very hard to even describe. The force of the water can come down. When you look at in 2006, matter of fact, if I recall, it was March 14th in 2006 where we had the Kaloko Dam failure. Kaloko Dam was located very high up in the upper reaches of that particular area and valley. And when it breached, because we were experiencing a lot of heavy rains, if you recall, we had about 40 days of rains from late February through about the 2nd of April. It was one system after the next, all these upper low-level systems or coronal lows that affected the state over that time period. But on March the 14th, because of the heavy, heavy rains that occurred in the Kauai area, the dam overflowed. It breached, it topped over portions of that particular dam, and finally the walls weakened and the water just rushed down. And if I recall, I think heights of the water coming down were like about 18 to 24 feet that rushed on down, struck Kohio Highway, did some partial damage to that, went over and underneath, and again just took down trees and 7 homes below Kuhio Highway, and unfortunately we lost about seven people.
What a tragedy. We hope to avoid that this time. Now, we do understand that this earthen dam over on Maui, there's about 30 parcels or lots that are below the Kapakalua Dam in that sort of gulch area east of the Haiku area. And it is 57 feet high at its highest, 68 million gallons of water it can hold, and we know, of course, it's over full from today. Now, the scope of that, 67 million gallons, 68 million gallons of water, 57 feet high, 400 feet long, and built in 1885. Kind of a scary thing to be living or working below, right?
Absolutely. That's a lot of water. A lot of water.
Yes, yes.
I wanted to chime in real fast, if possible. And, you know, Ed Teixeira made a great comment about the age of, you know, a lot of the water systems that are not just in upcountry Maui, but also across the state. There's a lot of water that Maui has, right? You think about the beautiful waterfalls, you think about that East Maui, but when it comes to getting that water into the pipes, especially for East Maui, that irrigation system is quite old and some of the water seeps out, so you're not getting, you know, in an everyday situation, we're not getting the efficiency of this plumbing system to get the water into the homes, and that's been a little bit of a problem when Maui has been in drought situations, because there is actually a lot of water in Maui, but getting it to the homes is sometimes difficult because of the old irrigation systems. And now we're looking also at a dam that, again, is very, very old, and quite frankly, so old, I'm still surprised it's holding up as it has all these decades.
That's right. And Ed, maybe you can weigh in on, too, the network of regulation and safety precautions that the state has tried to put in place. I'll give a little background. Just today, for example, the dam's owner, Mahi Pono, did contact the DLNR safety program around 1:30. They reported, hey, we're seeing this extremely heavy rainfall. They knew their spillway was running very high, so they initiated what now is called this level 2 emergency. Basically, hey, we've got a potential for failure. And at 2:50 p.m., they reported the dam was starting to overtop the embankment. So, Ed, as you hear these steps that the owner took in this dam safety system that we now have, does the system work? Is this an example of regulation that's working despite the aging infrastructure they have to deal with?
Proper measures were taken in terms of alert from the dam owner to the County of Hawaii. I would have to assume to the County of Hawaii first, and then to the State of Hawaii, the dam safety officer, dam safety division or program at the Department of Land and Natural Resources. And you know, if they could give a heads up as early from the early afternoon that a lot of rainfall, you know, the water heights were building in that reservoir, and that could have triggered some initial planning to take a look at, you know, at the county level. They were probably looking at their evacuation plan and begin to alert the residents downstream from that. So it appears to me that, you know, some prudent steps were taken. I'm just feeling very, very sorry and disappointed that we did have a breach of that particular reservoir.
Excellent. Well, that's good to see. Now, we do have links on our website, khon2.com, where you can get a link to this dam safety program, maps, evacuation areas of all the dams around the counties on every island. It's really quite amazing inventory that they do have now. This does look like a case where those signals began to work, at least to give people as early a heads up as possible. Justin?
Yeah, and again, we knew that there was going to be wet weather. We knew that there was a chance of heavy showers, possible thunderstorms. Been talking about it since last week, but where things pop up, at what hours, and the locations, that is pretty much up to Mother Nature at this point. We want to thank Ed Teixeira, former Civil Defense Vice Director, for joining us. Ed, stay dry and we'll be in touch.
Okay, thank you.